Hero shooters have been a staple the past 5 years of gaming. We've seen a good handful of these games develop audiences after TF2 held the monopoly for so long. Not that game. This has also come at a price, and that is the quality of our heroes. So let's look at these highly revered and most skilled fighters of each of these universes. Wow, look, we got a cloak guy who can teleport. Some cocky personalities with accents, big dumb tank guys, demolitions experts. Wow, nothing about these characters really changes, do they? How did we get to this point, where the characters of our hero-based games don't even feel like they live in the universes they were designed for? I think I have a good starting point for that. Let's start with the character development, and WoW is a non-existent. Sure, each of these characters have a personality tied to them, but what are their characters? Let's start with Overwatch. Overwatch has been out for 4 years now, and in those 4 years we've seen 10 character shorts that develop the identities of these heroes in the universe, and typically it focuses on one character at a time and where they place in the universe. But if you know how to count, 10 shorts comes nowhere close to equaling 32 characters. This underrepresentation of your own cast is a huge injustice to the game you're developing. And I understand the sentiment of, why not just read the comics? Because that is extra money on top of the $60 I spent to buy the game. Even reading up on a free game, the cost is your time. No, we still don't speak of that game. I understand that the diehard fans will go to find every piece of lore hidden within the universe of the game, but it alienates the casual player and makes it so that there is no way to understand the universe you're trying to immerse yourself in. Why is Big Monkey a hero? Why are any of them heroes? Because it's their job? Us as the viewers do not get any glimpse into what their motivation is. There's an idea in storytelling, a big one that people mention a lot. Show, don't tell. A lot of the voice lines in these games are shoehorns of story development, but don't actually attempt to teach us anything. Valorant is the biggest offender of this idea. One line that gets to me every single time I hear it is from Reyna.
As much as this world hurt me, it's mine, and I will kill to defend it.
Wow, that's a pretty cool line that establishes the character's feeling towards the world. But what did the world take from you? Us as the audience can only speculate this, which is taken from her, but we have nothing, and I mean nothing, to work with on this. We have gotten one character short, and speaking of that character short, Jet has an interesting line. In case I don't find that line, where's that smile, Phoenix? So you're telling me that in the little bit of canon we get for this game, they're sworn enemies, but the in-game audio lines, they're best friends? Like, you gotta pick a lane on this. Do they like each other? Do they want to blast each other's brains out? Killjoy's over here talking about, oh, making all these characters tech, but what side is she on? Part of the idea of hero also implies the idea of villain, but these games don't even try to explain what the goal of these organizations are. TF2 did a great job, two brothers, red versus blue, hiring teams to steal from each other. Simple story that establishes the idea that there are these two forces both equally sympathetic because they are after the same goal. Now, Overwatch. Sure, in the character shorts, Overwatch is this noble crew here to stand up for the citizens and fight for justice in an unjust world. But then you get to the gameplay. See, in the gameplay, the canon gets thrown out the window. Why are sworn enemies Tracer and Widowmaker working together to get a rich guy's car across Hollywood? The gameplay is understood as mutually exclusive and out of the canon of the world, even though it's all the story most players will experience, which feels dissatisfying. Where do I even start with Valorant? Like, what is a Valorant? There's no established idea of who here is a good boy, and who belongs in the timeout corner. Think about that city you wanted to destroy. We only really get the character designs to try and decipher who is the goods and who's the bads. And the in-game experience makes even less sense. Why are we trying to blow up these random locations? Like, at least CSGO divides you into terrorists and counter-terrorists, so you know one set is trying to blow up an area they don't own, while the people that own it come and try and stop them. But there are no discerning factors to who you should be rooting for in Valorant. One team plants the bomb while the other stops them. But we get no idea if this planting the bomb is for justice, or if it's just some jerks trying to blow things up. In-game, both Overwatch and Valorant identify the issue of there being duplicates of the characters on each team, but does nothing to try and define why this is. You could even BS something in that based on the team you are on, you're either the shadow or the light copy of the other one, so that morals of the characters align with the side you're fighting for. It's better than just letting the person who kills the duplicate getting a line saying, "Sayonara, fake boy." The maps of these don't even feel like they belong in the world they're implemented in, but that's a bit far from the source topic. I think it's finally time to address the elephant in the room. Paladins is the worst example of any of these games. They just non-discriminately add characters to the game without thinking of any sort of balance. There are so many characters in this game that some of the characters, especially the early designs, don't even look like they're from the same game. No joke. Paladins does nothing when it comes to story, which hurts the game on a further level. I do have a confession though. I actually kinda like Paladins. Not as a sweaty tryhard game, but it's fun to just join a lobby and stomp on the other opponents. Interestingly enough, part of the fun is how broken the game is. But I can step away and admit that Paladins is the worst hero shooter game of all. The biggest issue the game faces is the lack of care put into it, which is not the game's fault. It could easily have built a competitive fanbase if it was not so obviously in it for the cash. The reason it's called an Overwatch clone is that the team at Paladins accepted it as the Overwatch clone. This lack of care and giving up makes this a bad game. But what are some good examples of hero shooters? Like I said, TF2 does a good job at establishing the universe, but I also think Apex Legends does a pretty good job. See, they set themselves up as being part of the pre-established world of Titanfall, which means by playing Titanfall, you can fill in a lot of the bits and pieces and how the subplot of the larger universe works. Not all of these games have the luxury of being set in a preset universe, however, but I think I have a sufficient solution. A single player set of missions. Having a one-off mission for each of these characters that most closely represents the ideals of the character helps you establish 3 different things. 1. What side the character is on. Are they a good boy or are they a bad boy? 2. Develop the world so it seems more than just exclusively 10 inhabitants whose sole mission is to fight each other. And number 3. Give your players an actual tutorial. Blasphemous, I know, but it would be kind of nice to get to know how to efficiently use your character before throwing yourself legs deep into quick play. Almost any other FPS has a story mode which acts as a tutorial and helps give meaning to the maps beyond them existing for you to shoot other random strangers on. We actually get development and feel emotions attached to the set pieces we are thrusted upon. We probably won't see this in any hero shooter soon, and by the time we do, such as Overwatch 2, it'll be too late and all the fans will have moved on. So here's a message to developers. Just add the story in at the start before you add too many characters to handle into your game, and then complain about the community developing metas even though it's your job to balance the game. Sincerely, a guy who doesn't like hero shooters that much and really just likes to play Valorant. P.S. Stop trying to make me to read to understand your universe. I play games explicitly to not read.